Alright, time to bring in some firepower to this weapon review and get on with some guns. The first category, of course, I'll be reviewing are the pistols, and the first one will be the Matilda. Doesn't that name sound familiar? The very first came up in Resident Evil 4, and they like to throw back to that name ever since. But anyway, here's a nice detailed look, and with the firearms, this menu screen gives me the ability to play out a little animation, so check it out. And as you can see now in the inventory menu, there's a lot more to talk about when it comes to the Matilda being a firearm. So first off, let's check the in-game description. A 12-shot capacity 9mm polymer frame handgun. Non-standard issue gun with problems that make it impractical for the general public. Interesting, so it's not a typical handgun you'd see, but that's kind of a given. Alright, so as you can see, I have a lot more than just the gun in here. As I explained in the very beginning of the weapon review, they keep true to the original and bring back the custom parts. And as I said, it's much more elaborate in this one. There's more custom parts for more weapons, and both characters get custom parts. It's going to make this weapon review very interesting. So, for the Matilda, you can get a total of 3 custom parts. The high-capacity mag, which is described as a custom part for the Matilda that extends clip capacity to 24 rounds and shortens reload time. That's nice. And then you got the muzzle brake, a custom part for the Matilda that reduces recoil and muzzle rise by redirecting propellant gas up and away from the barrel. Interesting. And finally, you got the gun stock, probably the most recognizable custom part for the Matilda, as it makes it look like its original Resident Evil 2 upgraded version and its Resident Evil 4 version. The gun stock, a custom part for the Matilda that allows the gun to fire 3 rounds per pull of the trigger. So there you go, that makes it the true Matilda. Alright, so one of the custom parts for the Matilda, specifically the high-capacity mag, is found here in the West office in Leon's desk. So you have to enter the code first on both sides. On the left side, the code is NED, and on the right side, the code is MRG. This is specifically the first initials of all the officers lined up on this desk. That's how you figure out this code. Open the desk, and there's the high-capacity mag for the Matilda. The muzzle brake can be found in the waiting room safe, and the combination to this safe is 6, 2, 11. And here it is, the muzzle brake. The location of the gun stock custom part for the Matilda is in the trunk of this police car, which you unlock by acquiring the car key inside a tin box near the shooting range. So you examine that, pop the button, open the trunk, and there it is, the gun stock for the Matilda. Alright, so that's how you get all of the custom parts for the Matilda. So here's the thing, real quick before I get into the weapon testing. I am going to show you all the weapons with each custom part attached to it in every different way. Only for the testing, though. When it comes to enemies, I'm only going to test the gun with no parts on it and with all parts on it. This will be similar to my Resident Evil 4 weapon review, where I tested weapons completely unupgraded and completely upgraded. So let me just emphasize real quick on what I mean by testing all the versions. So the Matilda has 3 custom parts, right? So there are a total of 8 different ways to test this weapon. The Matilda by itself, with the high-capacity mag, with the muzzle brake, with the gun stock, with the high-capacity mag with muzzle brake, high-capacity mag with gun stock, muzzle brake with gun stock, and then finally all 3 parts connected. So I am going to test it all 8 ways. So let's go on and do that real quick. Here's a nice close-up of Leon holding the gun. I'll try to show this in all versions. Now let's go ahead and test it out. Real quick before I do though, you see the crosshairs and how they start wide and narrow in? That is a good way to get the most out of each shot. So I recommend you do that if you can. Alright, so now let's finally test the Matilda out. Has a starting capacity of 12 before you use the high capacity mag, if that's important. Here's a funny thing. When you empty your clip, if you try to fire more rounds, it'll just click away. It won't do the reload. You have to use a different button entirely to do the reload animation. So now we're going to combine the high capacity mag to the Matilda. And there you go. So now upon examination, 24 shot capacity 9mm polymer frame handgun. The rest of the description is exactly the same. And as you can see on the left now, it shows you what custom parts are attached. It does not give me the option to unequip the custom parts, however. So yep, it is on there forever, unless I reload my game, which I will later. Nice close-up of it with the custom part on it. Alright, now let's test this one out. So as it described, the reload animation is a bit faster. Alright, now let's try just the muzzle brake attached to the Matilda. It does not change the description of the weapon. There you go. So let's see if it changes any firing. Alright, so he clearly is handling it better. So it is doing something. And finally, let's attach just the gun stock to the Matilda. Haha, it's starting to look more classic now. So as you can see, it is a 2-slotted weapon now, and this is what I was talking about. It does give you the option to remove it, so I can go right back if I wanted to. There you go. Does it change the description? No, it doesn't. Alright. So now his aiming posture is a little different. Let's test it out now. So yep, now 3-round burst. High capacity mag and muzzle brake. Interesting looking gun indeed. High capacity mag and gun stock. Muzzle brake and gun stock. And finally, all 3 parts. So this right here is the full Matilda. So now if I come back to this menu screen where I introduce the weapons, if the weapon has custom parts, you can change the animation to feature it with all the custom parts on it. I can't change it to where it can feature only an individual custom part, but I could at least show you this. And that demonstrates the burst fire capability. So really the only thing that changes the description is the gun stock. Yay. Alright, test the full beast out. So yeah, 3-round burst fire, very low recoil and high stability, and a fast reload. So the full version Matilda is so many ways better than it by itself. The only drawbacks I would say really is because of the gun stock. It takes up 2 slots and it makes it eat up ammo faster, but we're gonna find out if the damage is any different between no parts and all parts. And I'm gonna test the Matilda and all the rest of the handguns on a standard zombie. So testing the weapons in this game is gonna be a little different from all past weapon reviews. For the first time, instead of going for the torso, I'm actually gonna go for the head for most of the enemies throughout this weapon review. I'm also going to make sure I zero in with the crosshair whenever I can, because that is the way you should play, and that is the way I'm going to demonstrate the weapons. So, to finally test the Matilda on a zombie, we're first gonna test it out with no parts attached whatsoever. So here we go.
You bastard. What the fuck?
Okay, so it took 12 shots total to defeat a zombie with the Matilda, no parts attached, for me, in that test. That's not speaking for everybody, just so you know. I even unloaded extra shots just to ensure until its head exploded, so there you go. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and test the Matilda on the same zombie, but with all the parts attached. See if it makes a difference.
Shit!
Okay, so it only took 9 shots to defeat the zombie with the Matilda with all of the parts attached. So according to that test, it seems it's more powerful with all the parts on it. Don't know for sure. We can never be sure with weapon statistics unless I do extensive research, which I never want to do. By the way, since I remember I didn't mention it in the beginning, once again, do not take the term review from my title too seriously. These are more like showcases. I'm just showing you all the weapons of the game and just doing simple enemy tests. I'm not going very extensive with the details here, so sue me if that's what you're after. You can make a better review anyway. Alright, so that is gonna conclude the Matilda.
Don't shoot!
Get down!
Whoa, don't shoot!
Get down!
Now for the next handgun, the Broom Hc. And here it is in the inventory screen. 9-shot capacity, 9mm double action semi-auto handgun. This piece is one of a specific limited run of 5,000 pistols. That's a very intricate description, I'll give it that. Alright, so in the main campaign, this handgun can be found only by using Ada Wong. It is her personal pistol, so you start off with it. Alright. So let's go ahead and test it out. Only has 9 shots capacity, unlike Leon's 12 in the Matilda. There's like absolutely no recoil on it when she fires it anyway. Looking sexy there, Ada. Alright. It should probably be noted that the Broom HC can also be found in the Ghost Survivors mode when playing as Daniel Cortini. So as you see, you got the Broom HC, and here's him using it. So that is the Broom in action, so now let's test it on a standard zombie. Well, that was sort of a failure. I got a critical shot, which I was hoping to show at least once throughout this weapon review, so that's okay, I guess. Okay, so I tried 2 different zombies and they had different results. So that's what I'm saying. The damage seems to vary with zombie to zombie. So it's better if I give you guys, I guess, a range of how many shots it would take on a standard zombie going to the head like that. Based on my test, it could take 7 to 13 shots, which is a pretty average range if you ask me. These tests are both stronger and weaker than both of the Matilda tests. So I don't know what to say there other than yes, it varies, which is why once again, don't take these tests to heart and expect that to be the result every single time. Alright, so that is gonna conclude the Broom HC.
Thank you.
You'll never get the G-Virus!
Now for Claire's main pistol, the SLS 60. And here it is in game. Check it out. 5-shot capacity 9mm handgun. Its smaller capacity allows for its small size, making it extremely easy to handle. Alright, so just like the Matilda being Leon's starting weapon, the SLS-60 is Claire's starting weapon. So it's automatically in your inventory. And unlike the Matilda, the SLS-60 only gets 2 custom parts. A speed loader, which is described as a custom part for the SLS-60, greatly decreases reload time. Go figure with its name and all. And then the reinforced frame. It's a reinforced custom part for the SLS-60. Made of stainless steel, this frame allows the gun to fire special high-powered rounds, which are these things right here. It's a gun that uses 2 different types of rounds. I cannot fire those rounds with the gun as is right now. Here are the locations. So the speedloader custom part can be found in Leon's desk in Claire's scenario. Again, the code on the left side is NED and ED. And the code on the right side is MRG. Again, these are the first initials of the 6 cop names on each side of these desks to find the code. Open the desk up, and there it is, the speed loader for the SLS-60. The reinforced frame custom part can be found inside the sewer locker, and if you don't know the combination to that, it is here on the right side of the safe. So as follows, left 2, right 12, left 8. Open the safe up. And there it is, the reinforced frame for the SLS-60, basically turning it into a Magnum. With only 2 custom parts, there's 4 versions to fire this gun. Alright, and this is like the only way to get a close-up view with Claire holding the weapon, but that's still good. Nice stainless steel revolver. Let's do it. So, starting capacity of only 5 bullets. Alright. Alright, now let's test it out with the speed loader attached to it. Does not change the description of the handgun whatsoever. I'm not sure if it even changes the look, but we are going to see a different reload animation entirely. It's a little faster. Probably will be useful in the long run. Alright, now let's try just the reinforced frame. Almost like a Magnum. Ooh, look at that. 5-shot capacity handgun, easy to handle, and can fire high-powered rounds in addition to 9mm ammo. Now I can fire 2 different types of rounds here. So first let's try regular rounds. So nothing really changes there except the look. Same thing can be said about the reload. So with that in mind, all this is going to do is change the reload speed. It's not really going to change the look of the gun, or the firing, or anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach that and test it again real quick. Alright, that's not different, so it's just the reload. Yep, much faster. Here's a detailed look at the SLS-60 with all the parts equipped. Now for the real test with the reinforced frame, let's switch the ammo up. What's interesting is it also changes your cursor. There you go. So here it is with high-powered rounds. So it fires more like a Magnum at that point. It should be mentioned that the fully customized SLS-60 can also be found in Catherine Warren's run of the Ghost Survivors, as you can see here. So I'm excited to test this out on a standard zombie. The high-powered rounds, I might go as far as testing them on a liquor. We'll see.
What the hell is up with you? You bastard! I can do this.
Alright, so 11 headshots and 1 hand shot to take down a zombie. So unfortunately, I missed the head in one of those shots, got a hand shot. It sort of made the test improper at that point, but whatever. So possibly could have only taken 11 headshots if I didn't do that hand shot, but there were 12 shots total added up. So there you go. So now let's test out the SLS-60 with all the parts on it. So the proper way to test out the full version of the SLS-60 is to still use regular handgun rounds. Let's see if it makes a difference here. I know the high-powered will, but are the regular rounds more powerful with the reinforced frame? Damn it. I hate it when this happens.
Oh no.
Alright, I'm done testing this out. It never went beyond 11 shots, so I'm just gonna say that is the amount of shots it took me to defeat a standard zombie. Granted, one of those shots, the crosshairs didn't go in all the way, but I stopped caring anymore. I'm getting way too many criticals here, and I'm tired of it. So, just know, it should take no more than the standard SLS-60 does. I do think these parts actually up the firepower just a tiny bit. It definitely ups the critical rate, at least in Claire's case here. Alright, well, now I am pretty sure of what's going to happen when I test the high-powered rounds on this zombie. Check it out. Boom! Headshot. So yeah, I'll give you guys a little early explosive headshot there. Like I said, this is basically a Magnum now with the high-powered rounds, so I really anticipated that. So yeah, like I said earlier, I'm going to go ahead and test the high-powered rounds on a liquor. Alright, it seems in both cases it took 3 shots to take down a liquor. So yeah, this handgun is pretty damn powerful once you have the high-powered rounds. That is fully going to conclude the SLS-60 handgun.
I'll meet you at the station!
Now for the next handgun, the JMB Hp3. Does HP stand for high powered, just like it did in the original Resident Evil 2? Most likely, considering that's what this weapon is based off of. Anyway, here it is in game. 13-shot 9mm handgun. First to use double-stack magazines. It was a marvel of firepower at the time due to how many rounds it could hold. Alright, so the JMB Hp3 handgun is found in the trunk of a police car in Claire's scenario. So if you examine the car key that you acquire from a tin box near the shooting range, use it, unlock the trunk, there it is, the JMB Hp3. So here's something interesting that I don't really understand. It clearly, as you can see, has a custom part already attached to it, and in that earlier screen it didn't have it attached. I do not know why they have the custom part already attached to it, and apparently only through cheats can you see the custom part by itself. I have an image pulled up here from the Resident Evil wiki, so apparently through cheats you could find this, but I'm not about to research how to do it myself. But anyway, the laser sight custom part is described as a custom part for the JMB Hp3, makes it possible to line up shots in the blink of an eye. So with the laser sight attached to it here, that whole trick with the cursor that I told you guys about, basically you automatically have full potential of the aiming. So there you go. The only other custom part it does come with that you do acquire is the high capacity mag for the JMB Hp3, which is described as a custom part for it that extends clip capacity to 26 rounds and shortens reload time. So it's just like the high-capacity mag for the Matilda. The high-capacity mag for the JMB Hp3 can be found in the waiting room safe. And again, the code for this is 6211. Open it up. And there you have it. The high-capacity mag for the JMB Hp3. Alright, so here's Claire holding it. Let's go ahead and test this baby out. I like the laser sight. See? So starting capacity of 13, but can be doubled to 26. Alright, now let's combine it with a high capacity mag. Yeah. 26-shot 9mm handgun. Rest of the description is the same. Alright, so this is the full version of the JMB Hp3. Here's a detailed look of the JMB Hp3 with all the custom parts. There you go. Oh, she lifts it up sometimes. Alright, let's test it out. That was a weird looking reload for a second. So there's the JMB Hp3 for you. So now let's test it on a standard zombie.
What the hell? Oh no. You bastard.
Alright, so it took 12 shots from the JMB to take down the zombie. That's without the high capacity mag. I don't know if it's going to make a difference in damage. I really should have tested it with the high capacity mag already on it. If it does take less shots, for all we know, it could be just because of the variables. But regardless, I'll do it. So, as you see, it took the same amount of shots, so the high capacity mag doesn't seem to up the firepower at all. So that is gonna conclude the JMB Hp3 pistol.